We are back just a few minutes before we hit the pick and ban yet again for this quarterfinal between Dusty and Nativz. Everybody was anticipating this one, but the first game was one-sided from Dusty. As I'm getting a little bit of a Macarena on the Don Jake room. I don't know, but it's always a pleasure. It seems like
I'm doing a
Nativz decided
salsa.
to
I'm
jump.
hoping for something spicy.
Exactly. That's what I had in mind. Natives are picking blue though. Don Jake, what are you expecting with this pick and ban now? Slipping up
I'm
sides.
hoping on blue, it's not going to be that we're going to be saying bubba dee bubba bye to them. They're hopefully going to be able to bounce back with a game win here, tie the series up, not be going out too late. They had blue last game. They didn't have blue last game. So blue this game. We spoke about the differences. For me, red side is a side that you can consolidate your theme on. That's something they failed to do. They looked in Hecker and Sona. Didn't really understand it. Maybe with a limited options within the kind of liminal space of reality of blue side, they can just go for a power pick. I think blue side for me actually suits Natives quite a lot more. I think when you just have one thing you need to lock in, one power pick that you then build your theme on, you can respond to. For me, I think Natives in this game, in this kind of battle, much prefer them being reactive than proactive because their proactive ideas aren't very good.
I agree, and Aragon. And when you look into the champions, we brought up the ones to look out for, or those more specific picks like the Gragas, the LeBlanc. Are you expecting any of those to get some light in the venue?
Yeah, specifically the first three. Gragas, Graves, Heimer, they're going to gun for one of these three for starters. 100% they're gunning for Heimer or Graves. They're definitely the ones they want to blind pick. I'm really sad.
Oh,
I don't
you're
like the
smiling
fact...
though. What?
Okay, well, a sad... Yeah, I don't know why I'm smiling. I'm really, really sad, frowny face. I think they'd do better on red side. I really think Natives, I think they could do way better on red side, because I think if they give counter pick to bot lane, to Clocks, I think they can use that counter pick to maybe like help out the jungler to invade and make plays the jungle like they have been, in the past, in previous games. That's what they were doing a lot, giving Clocks counter pick and winning lane and allowing him to roam. But they're not doing that. They're opting for first picks, Graves and Heimer, which I think is a bit inconsistent. I think you could just get banned out and then there's nothing, That's the problem I have.
Okay, we're about to jump in. Any sort of predictions before we go in? Any sort of things you would like to say before we jump into the pick and ban?
Remember, you are not low elo.
No more Sona blind.
Okay, I understand Aragons, but what about you, Don Jake? What was...
You don't remember that famous mission in Modern Warfare where like they go through the lift? Come on, guys. Remember, you're not. Come on. Catch up, guys.
I can never expect what he says. I can never expect. So no more someone a blind pick. And what about you at home? What are you expecting to see this one? Who are you cheering for? Are you for Natives? Are you for the Dusty? What are you expecting this one? Because I know a few people on the chat were expecting Natives to actually how do you say, outscale, for instance, Dusty with the composition they had, and it's a tough one to bring at the end of the day. So we're just waiting for one member from Dusty to come in, and there you go. As soon as he joins back on the Champions Select, we can actually toss it away. And there you go. We are back into the pick and ban. LeBlanc instantly removed, this time for real, from Natives. They're not going to be tricked, as Dusty has the red side. So instead of one power pick, they can pick two of them.
No, you're right. They're not going to be tricked. This is Dusty. Then Voxney was on trick a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think for the side of Dusty, completely ignoring that comment. Heimerdinger, Graves,
He's not
and
wrong.
Yumi Bans.
Yeah.
Yumi Bans for the side of Dusty. I think they might look for a Gragas early pick for the side of Natives, maybe first pick. But yeah, I think 100% for the side of Dusty, maybe Graves. Honestly, Natives could ban Yumi as well, because I don't believe Clocks plays Yumi, although saying that he kind of does play everything, so we'll have to see. Probably Gragas first pick.
Okay, so
Gragas first
let's
pick.
see.
Potentially, yeah. They've shown they have done this in the past in previous games in Aurora in the Aurora Open, so I wouldn't be surprised if everything's down.
What do you think? Because for me, Gragas is very much kind of a Stonewall pick that we kind of characterise as
They
being
flex
something
it.
that he can use to. Yeah, I know they can flex it as well, but what do you think? There's any picks that you've looked at Kerberos? Because
Nasus.
Gragas is really can shut Nasus. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Nasus and Darius. That's why. So they're banning out Yasuo. Both teams play Yasuo comp, so I'm really surprised by this because it's kind of limiting your options a little bit. Maybe they don't want to be hand trick it. Dusty actually throwing down the gauntlet, saying you will not play Yumi here, or we have an answer. So that's curious, right?
That's what I'm afraid, because either that is a bluff and they pick the Yumi and do it again, or they're just waiting to see if Natives are capable of doing. Clocks, are you going to pick the Yumi or not? If you give that away, I don't even know how to look into the champions.
Gragas, there it is.
It's actually the Gragas first pick. That is 5,000 IQ Eragon. That is a good one. But Yumi is open though, so I don't know what to say.
I'm a bit confused by the Yasuo ban because you deny the Gragas Yasuo combo, which you were playing in the Aurora Open earlier. Maybe they thought that Dusty would answer the Gragas by picking their own Yasuo comp, so they don't want to give that over. But yeah, really surprised by that. I think we might see in the first 3 rotation Nasus, because it will get banned out 100% if it's not there. But other than that, yeah, Yumi's down. No.
Pain for Eragon. Don Jake, we're approaching complicated levels for Dusty or for Nativz if you're looking to the other side of the spectrum. What else can we expect now, Don Jake?
I'm expecting to see jungle pick here, but I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be. I think you could equally do similar to what you did on blue side first game, locks over here, and then just wait and see what they lock. I think that's probably what they're going to do. Yeah.
If it works, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Right. So I think we could say this is not going to be a clock Gragas. I think this will almost definitely be top lane. Nasus or Fiora will match, I believe. Looking at Kerberos's match history, his match history consists of in the past 10 Olaf, Camille, and Fiora. Right, but Camille's not going to be played into Gragas probably. But here it is. This is what I wanted from the last draft. The Seraphine Sona.
No.
No, you told me you don't want to see more Sonas, so.
No. I didn't want the Yumi either, right? I wanted the Yumi ban instead of the Yasuo. But here we are. Their plan is once again to try and match the scaling with the Sona Seraphine, which we kind of predicted in the last game, which was banned out. Let's see how it goes. You know, I'm not a big fan, but who knows? Now I want to see some hyper carries in the mid lane, maybe some Yones, you know, stuff like this in the jungle as well.
I hope that the ambulance in that bot lane has some paracetamol, because I'm getting a headache from these drafts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My doctor told me to be aware of my blood pressure, and this is not helping. So Akali should be the pick for the Dusty at this moment. So Backland is going to get access to that one, unless we get a switcheroo and Kerberos is going to pilot that one, but I don't think so. Silas is still available. When you look into those ultimates, I don't know, it would be interesting for Dusty, but I don't know where you can fit at that one. Yone is the one removed, as you said. You wanted to see that one for Relay, but apparently he's not going to be using it. If it's not a Yone, what can you see?
Kiana, they need AD, right? Like they need something AD, so it might be Kiana. I'm trying to think of other AD champions that he plays. Aurelia could be a shout in the mid lane. Whilst I don't think it's the most amazing matchup into the Akali, they have a lot of support backing him up, you know? So they need AD somewhere, and probably an AD carry jungler.
I have a massive problem with Nativz' draft going into the second rotation phase, whereby it's like they are guaranteed to fall over. They've got to tie their laces. They've got to tie this composition together with something, but they've got to use strawberry laces for it. There's nothing really to tie it together with.
Is that locked?
It is locked.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I really like this. This is a pick that, for example, Kha'Zix, I would see a lot of Yike play on LDLC. You kind of can play it into in games where necessarily you're not going to get matched by tempo in the early game, because obviously Kha'Zix is a champion, clears relatively slow, can't impact the map as quickly as something like a Grave or something else.
Okay.
You look happy with that?
Yeah. So this is really, really big. So the reason I think the reason Dusty picked the Kha'Zix here is obviously has good value with the Yumi, but Kha'Zix also beats Viego level 3 to 18. Straight up, it's one of the worst matchups for Viego. It's really, really sleeper bad. Yeah, so he picked Kha'Zix first, knowing that his pool was so pinched in that he needed an AD jungler. And he knew he'd pick Viego, right? So I really like that. Although I'm a bit concerned with the amount of CC on the side of Nativz, but really, really like heads up play.
But do you see what I mean when I talk about how they've had to consolidate and tie together this big parchment essay with just complete like string, some dust they found on the ground.
You force yourself into full AD, right?
Like,
I don't like it.
Nothing really.
Well, we're one pick away from this one for Nasus. Let's see what's going to land.
Nasus Yumi combination.
Nasus Yumi late game. That would be an interesting one for Kerberos.
Or Fiora. There it is.
There you go, lads. So you mostly predicted everything on this second draft from Nativz versus Dusty. Dusty 1-0. Do you believe at the end of this game, when the Nexus explodes, it's going to be a 2-0 for Dusty?
Nativz are bombing out 3-0-3.
I asked about one game, he just gave me the answer for that.
This game is going to be
Someone call Lemony Snicket. This is a series of unfortunate events.
I will say that Dusty have nothing early. Absolutely nothing. They have Akali mid, Nasus top, right? These are some of the weakest level ones in the game. Absolutely terrible. And Prayer bot lane, I guess, but not that significant.
This is something that I talked to Zen about when in kind of the summer split going into the playoffs against JDXL. He spoke about how a lot of the time he feels like at an ERL level you can play a lot of these slow burning compositions because you won't get punished. I feel like Nativz don't necessarily have much to punish with. You've got a kind of a stable top side that's used as a neutralizing agent. You've got a Viego that loses the matchup at level 3. You've got a mid lane that is kind of highly contested that the Aurelia needs to get really nice trades level 2 to 3. And you've got a handshake bot lane. Like, there's nothing to answer back with here. Like, you know, I thought DMX was dead, but apparently we're going to be hearing the Rough Riders anthem once again.
Usually when I look for like compositions like this, I look for, is there a potential for a level 1 invade? You know, what do they do on the first slow pushes? Do they invade like this? It's just, I don't see it. I just don't see it with Viego, Aurelia, Gragas topside. It's not happening, I don't think.
Looks like it's going to be a tough game for Nativz. If they want to pull this one through, they have to win right now, or else they're going to be against the wall on the 2-0 in favor of Dusty. And we know how powerful and dangerous they can be. Without further ado, let's toss it to the casters and go into some of this rift as soon as J-Real and Treble Link are ready to go.
I like how you say that, like you weren't going to throw it to us regardless of if I was ready or not. But,
you know what? He's doing the whole casters just press the button for the game because he's like, yeah, we've discussed draft, but let's see if the casters are finally ready to kick this game off.
Well, the question is, are you ready to kick this one off? We got another Yuumi. We got like a 50-minute game. I feel like we could let it run 20 minutes in, then turn it on. You know, like.
Tell you what, I saw the Yuumi. I was like, great. Then I saw Seraphine and Sona, and I was like, no. Please, like, someone. Because even though I love Dusty to beat as a team, like, I love them as a team, I'm like, man, I need you to play prior to 20 minutes. Like, I need some action in my life prior to 20 minutes. And right here, you've got a farming Nasus, a farming Sivir, a scaling Yuumi, and a Kha'Zix that wants to farm his heart out because you don't necessarily want to be 1v1 in the Viego Aurelia that's ended up in your mid lane. So I think grab some popcorn, grab any snacks of your choice. It was Halloween. Maybe you've got some leftover candy or chocolates or jellies and enjoy the run. We have a pause as well.
We do have a pause as well. I was going to say we were on the Rift, but we're back with us, you know. We're back and ready to be here. And, yeah, I don't know if maybe, like, there's a little bit of fear of Corona, and that's why they picked the Seraphine Sona, because they are seemingly playing for the distance, you know. I'm not talking about social distancing, I'm talking about the actual time in the game. Is this game going to end pre-35 minutes? Obviously, that is a lot of question for people. They maybe got some chicken in the oven or something. They want to know when it's going to go down. The real question, though, is the Desk talked about punishment, right? They talked about whether or not they could actually do anything against Dusty's comp to put them in.
We're punishing Yuumi and Joyous?
You're a bit quick on that one. All right, relax. I can feel the resentment coming through your voice. No, but Dusty, obviously, they picked a late game comp. There's a way of playing, right, where you could potentially punish them in the early game, but have Nativz even got that equipment? Are they even set up to do that? They've picked Touch as save lane, and to be fair, they themselves almost feel like they're going for those late game team fights.
Yeah, I feel like Nativz have their team and their team identity, and they don't seem to want to change it. The problem right here is that the game that Nativz want to play, Dusty has perfected. Farming through the early game, getting objectives through the mid game, and team fighting through the late. This is the identity of Dusty. They played NLC Summer with it. They won NLC Summer. They had a pretty successful EU Masters run as well. But this is actually Sniller sneaking into that bot lane. And Vox instead might be in trouble.
They're Vox stepping up, going to get rooted down. Does have a decent amount of damage themselves, but here comes Viego, going to flash away, but Sniller just going to walk them down slowly but surely. It's going to be a flash forward. The Sona will pick up the kill. Clocks takes it, and a really aggressive play from Dusty, a little bit out of character.
Yeah, but it's netted them a kill. It's netted them a bunch of summoners down in the bot lane. Now the Sivir and Yuumi cannot push past the halfway point in the lane because they could be in danger of getting ganked yet again. You'll see how Sniller has actually synced into the jungle. He's taking away jungle camps from Linkers. And right here, I would like to see this being taken away and him sprinting into his blue side. You've got Gragas priority in the top lane. You've got Aurelia pushing in the top side, in the mid lane as well. So if you sprint it from this side to your blue buff, you can actually cut off the Kha'Zix from taking anything from you, because right now that bot lane is not diveable.
Yeah, and a really nice roam up there from the bot lane to really give some space for the side of Snille. We do see Linkers going onto those walls. You'll see when Snille does meet him in the jungle. And also with a lot of mid priority and top priority, his lanes definitely could run down to help them crush this bug. But will he be able to catch him in time? Wolves will be gone, but how much more can he get through in this jungle? Level 3 versus level 3 Kha'Zix, notorious for his 1v1s. Going to jump over the wall though, does not want to fight the Prince.
Yeah, very good stuff right there. Linkas is going to have to actually execute, but again, he doesn't have as many camps remaining. Right here, Snille is at a pretty good advantage. He has his entire blue side, minus these wolves that were taken away by Linkers, and he also has his bot side available to him, which means he stops the acceleration of the farming of the Kha'Zix, and he also starts scaling himself towards that level 6, when he can pick up champions with his ultimate, when he can start getting these executes. So far, so good. I wanted a little bit more proactivity coming in from Nativz, and honestly, I didn't expect that it was going to come from a Seraphine Sona and a Viego level 2.
Yeah, no, that's pretty fair, pretty safe to say. And I want to ask you a question that I guess is a lot on viewers' minds, you know. It's really hard to deal with a Karen, but how do you deal with a Susan, especially in the later game?
Okay, so right here, I feel like they will not have too much of a problem, because there's Seraphine ult, there's Sona ult, there's a Viego stun, there's a cask, there's like so many abilities that Nativz can actually use to keep that Nasus away. But I feel right here, if you are Kerberos, you might as well stick on a side lane. You might as well go towards a Hullbreaker build, be an absolute menace on the side lane, and start trying to split apart Nativz, because Dusty right here have a Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix wants to fight these isolated targets and pick them apart, but if Nativz stick all together as a 5-man unit and nobody goes to stop Kerberos on the side lane, then Kerberos can actually start getting these 3 objectives.
Indeed, we'll see. Right now, Linkus is making their way up to the top side, maybe looking for this gang onto Lundorf, who has pressed himself a little bit far forward, doesn't have the belly bot to get himself away. We'll get the slowdown though, and Linkus doing a lot of damage. A nice wither as well, gets a decent amount of damage, but as you said, he is going to be able to get underneath his tower. He is going to be able to keep steadily healing up with that passive ticking over as well, so no big problems for Lundorf.
And every time I see Nasus pressing that slow, I lose a bit of my soul, together with whatever person is trying to move their champion towards whatever direction, to be honest. It's literally so sad to see somebody being slowed down by Nasus and not being able to move at all. But as you can see, pretty even in the top lane. Snille has managed to get himself ahead due to these level 1 shenanigans, due to him entering enemy jungle, due to him still in a few camps away from Linkers. Linkers right now, though, is going to sneak into that top side of the map, still a few camps away. And honestly, that's his bot lane should be feeling a little bit safe, playing from that point. The wave is pushing towards them. They should be fine. They have the Ghost on and Voxnay as well. And they're still level 4s, which means that Yoppa and Clocks cannot necessarily actually pin them down for the time being.
And this is almost a little bit reminiscent of Game 1, right? I will say Nativz obviously kicking off to a much better start than Dusty. Obviously, Dusty were the ones to pick up the first one last time. But it does feel like a very controlled game, which admittedly, as you said, is kind of Dusty's like playstyle, isn't necessarily Nativz. So it is interesting that they managed to pick up a kill early on this time. We'll see if they can keep that tempo going, as they are looking for something in the bot lane, but so far not finding it. We'll see how long Side decides to wait for his opportunity.
And mind you, last time Stand overextended, trying to get the shield passive. He ends up being capitalized upon. But right here, the wave is going to get past that bush. Then Voxnay is a little bit suspicious about that bush. He's going toward the other one in the river. But right here, he could get caught.
Oh, gets done up. There's the root, and goodbye to Den Voxnay. Going to be taking down another kill, and Nativz hitting that early tempo. You said you weren't expecting it from the Seraphine Sona, but it is where they're gaining those leads at the moment onto that Viego, and we all know what a menace he can be in the late game.
Yeah, and it absolutely makes sense, right? Every time you have a Yuumi in a lane, that lane typically has one body less to cover for skill shots, to play in the bush, to play for pressure in lane, usually like, for example, a Notus, a Leona would, a Thresh would, by stepping up into the bush, right? So yes, you have a lot of utility and speed ups and a lot of poke, but you don't have that extra body in the lane, which means you will end up getting capitalized upon. Luckily for Den Voxney, he only had to burn his ghost, his flash is up and available, so he should technically not get caught again, having that shield and having his flash available, even though I'm really liking, again, the proactivity that's coming in from the sort of Nativz. He has netted them about 800 gold lead right here.
It is indeed starting to ramp up. And Nativz, unlike Dusty, do like to play a little bit more proactive. They like to get those early leads. If you watch any of the series of M&M versus Nativz, they were very proactive in the games that they won. They were able to build that, get those team fights, snowball the game. And I feel like that's what we saw in the group stages as well. So it is a little bit out of character to see them play these slow games. Obviously, Dusty do have a way of making teams wait for when they are ready to fight, as we do see a little bit of a scrap in the mid lane, but it's not going to lead to too much. One thing that we haven't seen too much from Nativz in this game is prio around this Drake. They've got a lot of pressure in the bot side. Is that something you expect them to pick up pretty soon?
Yeah, absolutely. Having Sona and Seraphine level 6, I think it's king to fight around the Dragon Pit, is because if you can see the way the map works right now, Dusty are going to have to walk through very tight choke points if they want to get into this river. Then Vox, and again, overextended a little bit, no level 6 again, onto the Seraphine or the Senna, but he might get caught from Stile. We'll have to burn his flash most likely, there you go. But that is, again, a flashless Sivir in the bot lane, level 6s, and ultimates are going to have to come through the Sona and the Seraphine, so it could be a potential lane to even dive for Sniller.
Yeah, Linkus making the smart trade here. Going to go for that Rift Herald there. Going to be able to pick that one up in trade for this Dragon, as it is pretty assured for the side of Snille, so they will be able to get something back in their favour, and potentially break it down with the towers. They're picking up a little bit of gold, bringing them back into the game right now, though. Nativz sitting about 500 gold in the lead. As we are going to see Linkus go back into this jungle, going to be spotted out by Lundorf and could be in a little bit of trouble here. Although Lundorf trying to close this gap, getting a bit of damage down onto Linkus. No help means that it shouldn't be skillful to say that. Barrel is going to pop him back, but a nice jump with the plant will get him away, and the ghost being used by Kha'Zix.
Yeah, and I feel like Nativz has done a pretty good job at spotting where Linkus is throughout the game. You don't allow this Kha'Zix to farm freely, even though he is about 10 CS up onto the Viego. He should be about half a level up lead as well. Here comes Sona, get a heal, back to the lane. Again, my eyes fall into this bot lane. No ghost, no flash for Den Voxne, no exhaust onto stand. So can Nativz actually abuse this window with no exhaust and no ghost to try and make a play towards that bot side of the map? Now that both Seraphine and Sona have ultimates up and available.
Yeah, and it does look like they are pathing down that way. Snille obviously going to his Krugs, and now potentially looking to go onto this bot lane, and it does feel a little bit doomed, especially considering the Dusty are actually pushing this wave now. This is almost a perfect time for the VO to be here, and Kha'Zix is nowhere near.
And he actually is here, and as you can see, Nativz are trying to freeze the wave in a way where then Voxney and Sten are going to have to actually overextend to catch it, or they're going to have to ask for jungle assistance. Yes, Linkus is towards the bot side of the map, but as you can see, he's about 50% HP. He's nowhere near in a mood to try and gank, and Nativz are looking, but I think they made it a little bit too obvious that Viego might be lurking about.
They may have, but Den Voxney really wants that farm. Did step up. Now when he gets done up by Snille, able to keep a bit of distance though, and able to walk away. A lot of damage will go back down again, chunking them out, causing them to have problems in this lane. But no kill for Nativz this time round. Oh, Lundorf! Lundorf picking up the kill onto Nasus. Run it back, reload it, producer.
Run it back, because Gragas apparently is superior to that Nasus up the top lane, which actually this Gragas is going full AP. He's most likely going to be the Everfrost. Ryle, though, might be in a little bit of trouble as Linkus is wrapping around mid lane, but that's a level 9 Aurelia.
Does have 5 stacks, but the isolation damage is much right now coming out from the Kha'Zix, able to dodge the stun as well. Does drop the ultimate, but not going to be able to get away. Linkus dives on top of them, but here comes Snille trying to clean it up. He will pick up the kill onto Kha'Zix, takes one back for his team. As in the bot lane, they've managed to pick up a kill onto Den Voxney once again. Nativz are finding kills across the map.
I actually love this. You're trying to pressure Dusty to play a faster game, and Dusty are refusing right now because they're scaling for late. As you can see, Lundorf, because he's AP, he's actually forcing Kerberos to get his ultimate because the trades have netted Kerberos a really low HP bar. But Lundorf right here, did he flash body slam?
I don't know.
No
He's going
way.
for the barrel. He throws it down. Lindorf, though, just waiting.
He
Body
did?
slams into the barrel. My G on the Gragas. Lindorf is dirty on the champion. That's why it's been banned so many times.
Holy, very close to that Everfrost as well for the Gragas towards the top side of the map as well. And very soon we're going to move towards that replay bottle as well, because what in the world just happened? Okay, Clocks is doing a Fnatic with Yopa in this bush, and very slow reflexes right here. Very uncharacteristic, honestly, from the Voxnet to have very slow reflexes on that mana, because a Seraphine ult travels much slower than a Sona ult, so you do have a little bit of reaction window to use your spell shield right there, and of course he ends up going down, and it... Is that another kill me? Wait,
what? What was that? I don't know what that one was, but it was another kill going over to Nativz. They look like a bit of a drive-by there with the Gragas and the Viego, but right now they're going to drop the Herald into mid. Linkers trying to get away, Backlund trying to help the Herald crash. It will drop 2 plates over that mid tier 1, and they won't lose anyone for it.
Only Linkers was the recipient of the gold right there. That's not a big dub for the set of Dusty. I think, if anything, the Rift was running out. Linkas had to drop it, of course, before 14 minutes so he can get some gold. But that was not the biggest investment of time to try and get that Rift. Yes, you are a little bit ahead onto that Kha'Zix in terms of CS, but because Snilla has been active around the map, he's 3-0-1, has built the Ruin King, he has netted himself 1 whole level lead in this game. And honestly, I'm happy to see Nativz playing proactively even with this draft, because if you're playing proactively in the early and you scale so well, you can do wonders later on. Then Voxnet, nice shield, good reactions right there. Snilla's just chasing him, but that is a reset onto the Sivir, and in 10 seconds the Dragon's gonna pop up.
Oh, under the tower he goes! Kerberos gonna go pretty low, will be able to use the ulti, they're able to stay alive, and now going back in, look at those! Gonna get the stun, we'll get the kill, and another outplay to the Gragas!
I have no words. Honestly, Terrio, I have no words. Let's see, Dusty are going to try to move through that choke point, but Backland's going to have to flash away, because you definitely don't want to be playing in choke points versus Seraphine, Aurelia, and Sona when they have zoning ults. And again, this is the difficulty of the map, but Dusty seem to want to contest.
They do indeed. Right now we're going to see the final chapter trying to lock them up. Snille is going to be locked, and there goes Backlund going into the back line, but can he find anyone? There's the charm, the encore comes through. They're going to take the dragon, and now they're looking for the team fight as well. Linkers staying alive, but will go down low. Backlund going to be able to pick up the kill onto the Sona, but now gets taken down themselves. Lundorf on the run, looking for more. It's Voxe now 1v1 with Snille, but going to get slowed by Yopa. They've come into the fight, and now it's Stend that gets taken down as well. Triple kill to the man right there with the Gragas, the barrel. He is putting in the most work right now for this Nativz team. We talked about Lundorf potentially having a rough time against Kerberos in the pre-game, but this game, he is showing up.
I was just about to say, I don't know what we're talking about, where we're like, he will suffer, Kerberos is really good. Yes, Kerberos is really good. But this man on the Gragas is better, and he's netted himself 5 kills, 2 levels up, and let's see the replay again, because Kerberos right here, if I'm not wrong, he's trying to shove in the wave and crush it, but he overextends and he gets barreled into the tower. It means that he has to force his ultimate to not die underneath the tower, and Lundorf plays this so well, staying as far away as possible. As he has popped his W, he'll pop the auto attack, and now he's running away because he doesn't have the cooldowns, but the second he has the cooldowns, he barely just body slams back, and the damage from the E on the floor procs another tower shot onto Kerberos. Very, extremely well played by Lundorf. And again, here, Dusty, they're walking through the danger choke point into Seraphine and Sona. And as you will see, Nativz are going to bunch inside that pit, and they have so much shielding and healing and peeling ability. Really nice hold right there to catch the Kha'Zix with the tip. And you see that no matter what, his backline gets one onto the Sona, but everyone has melted away, and they have to run like headless chickens. And Lundorf finds one after the other. 5-0-2 on this Kha'Zix. They brought the Yuumi, but Snill is around.
Is indeed. They don't want any more of this, and they've also moved away the Nasus. They said, you know what, this Gragas is causing a bit of a problem. We're going to move him away as All Backland, good distancing there, able to stay back. Final chapter going to be used, so they do go aggressive onto Snille, who's going to have to go the Heartbreaker, but they take the kill. They killed off the Akali, and that is really Dusty that is going to be heartbroken. The stun, there he comes with the Shuriken Flip. It will be a 1-for-1 there, as it is going to be the Cosmic picking up a kill, but it looks like Lundorf is just going to take the kill, although Send able to survive a little bit of healing, and then Voxnay showing up does give him some security, but in the mid lane, they are going to lose the tier 1. Nativz are making plays. This is what we wanted to see from them at the start of this day, and they are finally showing it in game 2.
Yeah, Dusty invested 4 members towards the top side of the map, then Voxnay actually had to roam towards the top as well to try and save Sten from going down to Lundorf as well. They invested 4 members up top, which means not only do they lose more kills, but they also lose a very important tier 1 mid lane tower, which means that their vision is going to get lower and lower as the game goes on, which means that now Nativz can play a little bit more aggressive. They can take this Kha'Zix, who is 3 levels up onto the enemy jungle and 4 levels up over the AD carry. That Sivir is level 9, Gragas is level 13. Already 2 levels to this cask, and then Voxnay again. Ooh, getting caught by the Seraphine ult. That's a 1 versus 2.
The Encore is very, very strong and has been used to a pretty good effect so far in this game, and it seems to be continuing to be so. I am interested to see how they do decide to play on these towers. Obviously, they've managed to unlock the first. I do wonder if they start to rotate that Seraphine duo around to the side of the top and bottom to really open up the map for the side of Nativz and keep this game scaling. As right now, Relay taking on Cobras. I don't think he could win that 1v1, especially not with that Wither.
Nah, I think if anyone can win that 1 versus 1, is probably Lundorf. But again, 3 members of Dusty in the top lane. 1 Gragas, go.
Oh, final chapter going to be used. Will lock him up. Lundorf trying to get away, but the damage is a little bit too high there. Isolation causing problems. And he is going to go down. Kerberos, though, going to have the same fate here. Trying to trade 1 back, but will have no luck. Both teams said, you know what, your top laner, he's going to go for a 1v3 plus. And it is going to be both kills over to each side. They're going to drop the Herald, though. They're looking to take this tier 1 top side. As we will see if they can maybe trade it back, if Nativz can get a tower for themselves.
I think they actually need to reset and run towards the top side of the map, because if they don't, Dust is going to use the Rift Herald to take the tier 2 as well. But Snille and Yopa have already reset. They're not going to the Rift Herald get a second tower. But right here, Nativz are surrounding Dusty. Dusty is going to get out to the top side of the map. That was a pretty good trade right here if you're Dusty, because you're behind. You managed to get a shutdown. If I'm not wrong, that shutdown went also to an Akali, which is pretty hefty and pretty good money to get that second item as fast as possible onto backland. Third dragon, third dragon. Nativz has been really fast with them. He's gonna spawn, which means so point for Nativz, and Dusty are nowhere near. Again, walking through that choke point of death versus Seraphine and Sona is not gonna do you any wonders. So unless you're first in the river, I think that's gonna let this one go.
Indeed, third Drake is gonna go into Nativz. You know, I said this on Twitter the other day. Do you feel like we should get a new name instead of Soul Point? Like, because we've got 3 Drakes. Is this not just the Tri Drake?
The Tri-Drake?
Yeah.
Well, you never say the dual Drake, so the dual Drake. Nah.
Well, maybe it's a new thing. You know, new thing's got to start somewhere, right? It could be right here, right now. But either way, going back into this game, one new thing that could happen is the Nativz could pick up the win here and take it 1-1. We'll see if they can do so. Linkers has started to become a little bit of a problem, and its build is kind of interesting. You know, going for that Gold Drink and not going full Assassin. What do you kind of make of it? Also has the Serpent's Fang, the anti-shielding item for that Seraphine Sona.
Yeah, I really like that because it makes him more durable. He still does a bunch of damage. Serpent's Fang is really strong as well right here because almost every single champion will receive a shield from the Sona and the Seraphine, which means you get to proc it really easily. I'd like to see potentially a Shadow Flame coming in from backland as well, due to the fact that there's a bunch of shields on the side of Dusty. Snille right here overextended.
Oh, right now they're going to be able to lock them up underneath the tower backland. On the flip side, but the Encore going to catch out. Link is going to give some time. As the Voxley also going pretty low, and backland not able to assassinate anyone, just has to walk away. They're healing, the shielding. It's too much coming out from Nativz, and they will stay alive. And will they be able to turn this into an objective? They're walking up to the top side. It could be an early Baron play for them, or maybe they go fully to the top and go for that tower, but there's no wave. So it is going to be the Baron on the cards.
Okay, Nativz are starting the Baron. This could be very good or very bad because you do not have damage to burn it down that fast. You do not have an AD carry, you do not have a hyper carry, you only have 2 AP sources into that bot lane, which means that Dusty can actually take the time to gather around this, unless Nativz are looking to turn it around.
Oh, Kerberos gonna go into the 1v4, and he's just rooted for so long. Snille just gonna take his form, gonna become the demon dog himself, and it's now just gonna go back to the Baron.
Actually, you know what? Run it back, run it back. Lundorf is literally one-shotting these mid lane waves. Run it back until someone else jumps in. You kill them too, and if you're lucky enough, you catch Linkers or Backland, and you're able to take this Baron away from yourself. You get huge sieging power as well, but Dusty are not going to let this one go very freely, because there's also the Blastcon. Lundorf right here might take the Blastcon for himself.
Ooh, he is trying to cause some pressure. We'll get rid of that ward. Linkus is still lurking. Baron, though, 3,700, not going down just
Gone 50-50 this.
Backland, Denvoxne walking away. Linkus stepping forward. Lundorf going to force him to jump out, and that should be the Baron. Although saying that, Linkus is now going back in. Doesn't have any flash, though, so can't jump into the pit. They should be able to take this. They've got the Baron, but now here comes the fight. Final chance going to come through with the crescendo. The encore, it comes down. Linkus is gone, and now they're moving on to Backland. He will run away, but for how long? Snille on the chase, and they're looking to take them down one by one. They've picked up 3. Can they get more? Kerberos is lying in wait as Backland is going to be dropped once more. They're looking for the ace. They're doing it at a quick pace. Will this start the break to their base? They take down the 5th. They're now looking for this tower. How many can they get? Can they get 2? Can they get 3?
Honestly, stellar stuff. The patience, the resilience, knowing when to pull the trigger around this Baron. I said that textbook-wise, they should be the weaker team right here, but honestly, how patiently they're playing this game is absolutely stellar. The fact that they waited to rule in one player at a time for Dusty, look for picks with Lundorf's Gragas. I think this game, if anything, is done and dusted. Almost 10,000 gold in the lead for Nativz, 9-1-2. Book in the inventory as well for Lundorf on that Gragas. But look again, they have already killed Kerberos. They know that he doesn't have teleport to get back, so it's gonna take him a while. So they're looking for the Kazakhs. They need to kill Linkus if they want to continue with this Baron, or they need to zone him away. Right here, Ryle is doing a fantastic job at zoning away that bush right there, which means that the jungler is able to finish up this Baron. And honestly, the follow-up from all the ultimates that Nativz have with the Sona and the Seraphine makes it pretty easy for follow-up kills as well. So far, it's netted them 2 towers up in the top lane, the Spawn Bath, a tower in the bot lane. It's going to most likely give them the soul as well. Yopa.
Oh, in trouble. We'll be able to get away. TP going to be burned, though, from Lundorf, and Denvoxne should be safe. Encore going to come out, but really short. I don't really know where they were going with that one. Lundorf now going to have to work away from Kerberos as well. Did use the casket, though.
Okay.
Will be safe.
That was really clever. That was really clever. He tried to dash through that Seraphine ult to extend its reach. Hopefully towards Denvoxne. So they tried something creative. It didn't work. They're gonna TP back into the mid lane and maybe look for Backland. What?
Oh, Backland is critical out, but Akali, Notorious for their escapability, will be able to walk away.
That's all gone though, and you have Baron up mid lane minions. They're gonna start sieging. If Denvoxne does it back from top lane, and Lundorf is gonna stop the backs.
They are doing it just that. Lundorf maybe paying the ultimate sacrifice, though. Could be going down here. Going to be slowed. Will be able to get over the wall, but does take the damage. But the base is being cracked. They've taken down the tier 3. They're looking for the inhib as well. They will take this one. And I was going to say walk away, but the TPs are coming out of the base. And they're going to be going for that Drake. This is for the Mountain Soul.
That is really fast, quick thinking macro right here from Nativz. Honestly, welcome to the NLC, because this one looks absolutely crisp from them. They use that pressure from the top lane. Lundorf does sacrifice himself, but it gives a bunch of time to his team to take that mid lane inhibitor, start building some pressure into Dusty's lane, into Dusty's base, sorry, and take that soul for yourself, which means that you're now that much more durable, playing versus not one, but 2 assassins in the likes of Kazakhs and the Akali, plus all the shielding, plus all the healing. Clocks all along the mid lane. Can they kill him?
Clocks in trouble, does get the crescendo, able to buy some time for himself, flashes away as well. And that's a bit of help from Yopa on that Seraphine, was able to keep those heals high as now Kerberos taking so much damage there, coming out from the high note of Seraphine. And damn, needs to be very, very careful as on the side lane. We do see the Akali recalling back, and they're going to be able to get out safe. Was not noticed. But where do Nativz go now, right? They've got the dragon. They're now waiting for that Elder, potentially. They're now waiting for the Baron that's 2 minutes away. They're running it down the mid lane. Surely this can't be the way to go.
I don't like that. I would like this wave to be pushed, and then you have Aurora in the top lane, Gragas in the top lane or bot. Split your pressure because right here, I really doubt that they're gonna let you finish with this wave.
Well, we will see. They are getting onto this tower. Kerberos gonna drop that wither. They're trying to slow them off, trying to get a bit of
bot
focus.
lane Nativz.
Gonna buy a bit of time. Though does manage to get the final chapter out, but here comes Kerberos. He's got the Fury of the Sands, but Backman has already gone down. They're looking for more deck blocks. It's gonna fall from Riley, and Kerberos is rooted up. He's getting taken low. The Xerax is gonna give him enough of a shield to stay alive. Riley not gonna find the kill, but Linkus, Kerberos send the last 3 alive. Can they do enough? The towers are going to fall sooner rather than later.
You know what I say? Screw textbook gameplay, because when you're sitting 17,000 gold in the lead versus the NLC Summer Champions, all you have to do is just run it down mid lane and slap them in the face with your extra gold in terms of items. Really crisp, really well played. I enjoyed the macro. I enjoyed so much that early game pressure they put in Dusty. And also, like, Dusty seems like they fell asleep. I think I need to see some proactive lane from them, because that Akali was stuck in lane the entire game. I don't think I saw anything from Linkus. And it felt like then Vox and Sten were being not competitively, continuously hit onto that bot lane, but there was no help. There was nothing proactive on the map. We just need to see something happening in one of these lanes.
No, a quick way to sum it down. I feel like Dusty picked up game 1. They were here. They were boasting. They felt that they already won. Feet up, toasting. Well, it was the side of Nativz that came through hot, and they're looking roasting. So you better watch out with that rhyme. You know what it's time.
Better not cry.
To the Analyst Desk. Artrom, take it away.
So not only do I have to deal with Don Jake, but you as well, J Real. Come on. No, I'm kidding. I love it. He's just eating. I'll toss it to you, Don Jake, in a few seconds. But there we go. 1-1, exactly what Nativz needed to tie up, to put things on an even ground. And we need to understand why that happened while Donjek is having dinner in the middle of the stream. Eragon, let's start with the beginning, because you saw the Sona, you saw the Seraphine. I know your heart just went to the floor. You collapsed. You mentally went down. But it kind of worked because of all that attention Snile brought into the game. Putting your words, your own words, into reality, that regardless of what game we're seeing, one of these junglers is going to be AFK.
Yeah. I think it's natural, right, with the way these teams play. Like I was saying before in the previous time, on the previous desk, both of these teams are excellent at playing through their jungler, like counter jungling, using priority at the right time, the crashing the right slow pushes to invade jungle camp respawn, stuff like this. So one jungler will get shut out, and in this game it happened to be Linces, mainly because of draft with like lack of priority, lack of agency. I think Trouble was talking about having a proactive lane. Like they just didn't have any, right? They had Nasus top, Akali. I think you have probably the worst level ones in the game, and then you have Yuumi, right? Bot lane. There's just nothing you can do. So I think going forward, I really want to see them maybe not coast through the lane phases. I want them to have something proactive to play for. If you draft like this power farming jungler, you draft a prio lane as well. It just makes sense.
So the bot lane got accelerated really fast with the attention from Snil, and then I would like to look into both solo laners from Dusty and the way Nativz were playing with them. And I'll toss it to you. I'm kind of afraid to do it, but I'll toss it to you, Jake, to understand what happened and what is happening as well. I'm going to regret this. I'm going to regret.
Don't be. What are you so afraid of? I don't get it. What's wrong?
Your existence. At this point, it's about the existence itself. But continue, please. No, I'm cruising.
I've become almost like a Lovecraftian horror for you at this point. Beyond the deep. I think for me, Dusty this game just in over their heads slightly. I think there's an exuberance of hubris. It's the kind of the Icarus that melted, got too close to the sun of brilliance. They've tried to very much, like I said, I spoke to Zen. They like picking a lot of these kind of slow burning compositions whereby they don't necessarily think they're going to be punished. That was not the case this game. Kerberos has just run it down, to be quite fair. And I think one of the things that we spoke about, it sounds like a criticism of Kerb, it's something that I've been very fair with him. We talked about in the series they had against Excel. I remember this being a really big focal point. He's not a very strong laner a lot of the time. I think one of his weaknesses, one of his strengths is kind of his ability to, I think he's a very, very, very good mid-game player. But a lot of the time he can get kind of bullied out in lane. I think a lot of this was maybe potentially owing to the jungle matchup as well. I think Sniller did a very good job of just going straight to bot and then kind of translating his lead all across the map. But yeah, I definitely think that's potentially a pressure point for Dusty if they're not able to switch back on.
But most of the times, desks usually look into, oh, this team could have played this better. That I want to
Yeah.
celebrate success. I want to look into Lundorf and the way he was playing the deadline.
I apologize for being pessimistic.
Everybody is, don't worry. So I
Yeah.
really want to celebrate success. So that's why we're going to toss it to a team fight at 14, 30, something of that sort, where it was just beautiful to see the way Lundorf played, but also understanding how clerics that go the monk roads just punches you to heal to full health. So get me through this one, Aragon, if possible.
Yeah. So I think if this is the team fight where Lundorf flexes his top difference and manages to pick up a triple kill or something like this, absolutely fantastic play. Maybe not the triple kill, but he gets a triple kill in team fights like this. You see, Backlund tries to make something work, but in the end, Lundorf is just way too far ahead, and you can see him slapping with all that damage after getting solo kill after solo kill onto Kerberos, which, you know what? I didn't expect this to happen. He had a terrible series versus Sips at Singularity on his Gragas, and yeah, it is the triple kill, flexing that teleport advantage. So really big props to Lundorf because this is kind of a redemption arc for him to me.
Okay, and then we can toss it to a specific point that I want to Don Jake and Aragon to take it away, and that's on that order. The idea of drafting and the way that this could be their winning condition. We're talking about Dusty. Dusty has one of the most interesting and I would say powerful coaches from Division 1 I've ever seen. I know everybody's a Todok fan, but when I look into Dusty, I'm like, I know Todok, but Dusty's coach, he's a beast. So Don Jake, talk to me about draft and the way that this could be the defining moment for the series.
I mean, just look at Zen. He wears a turtleneck. Like, have you ever seen a? No one who's ever worn a turtleneck does not know what they're doing. Like,
Yeah,
that's just a simple fact. Like, I've got so many friends that they randomly bought a turtleneck one day. They start messaging you like, "Oh, invest in this, invest in that." You never end up making any money from it, but they damn sure sound good while they're saying it. So believe in the turtleneck. They need to put a bottleneck on this series because if they let the draft go badly like it did last game, it's going to be very unfortunate for them. I want to see Nativz if they want to do something well, and they need to be on blue as much as possible. I don't know. I think it's whoever loses gets side selection, right? So I'd imagine for me, if I'm Dusty, and I've just got confirmation from production. Dusty have chosen blue. I think that's a potential problem for Nativz. Like I said, key thing for me, I want to see them being reactive, not proactive. I think they struggle in that sense with draft at least.
Yeah. Just to pitch in, right? I think you deny the Seraphine Sona bot lane, right? I was saying at the start of the pre-show that Nativz need something spicy to win, right? Because on paper, Dusty is just better, right? And they are good at drafting spicy stuff. You saw the Pentaflex comp, right? So that's Sona Seraphine something. I fully expect Dusty to ban the Seraphine like they did in the game one, maybe not second rotation, but first rotation. All right, and then the question is, okay, what do Nativz have next? Okay, what's their next gimmick to keep them rolling? Otherwise, I don't think they'll win.
Okay, interesting take on this one as we're about to toss it to the third game of the series, which is now the best of three at this point. So let's take a small break before the third pick and ban that is almost ready for everyone.
Don't go anywhere.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.